Hello and welcome to another episode of The Good, the Brand, and the Ugly. I'm your host, Lee Reckman from Lethal Digital. Today I've got the team here. Treese, Mary, how are we going?
Pretty good.
Great, thanks.
Come on, let's have some
For a
enthusiasm,
Tuesday.
girls.
For a Tuesday, that's as enthusiastic as I can get.
Okay, it is pretty grey outside, but no, we actually have a really exciting guest today. So I'm really sort of enthusiastic and pumped to bring on our next guest for our listeners. So Peter from Professional Babe, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Random fact about me, my favorite day is actually Tuesday.
Wow.
Really?
Why?
Sure,
What
you're
happens
working.
Tuesdays?
It's
Why?
Tuesday. Like, why is it Tuesday?
No,
Man,
well, I would like to know that, but why is it your favorite? It's my least favorite. I feel like Monday is not that bad because you get the fresh start, but Tuesday feels like you're so far away from the weekend.
Okay, so let's like reframe this for a second and say that if you're Tuesday, like we should be aiming for our Tuesday to be amazing, because like no one has a good Tuesday. So if you are living life and having an epic Tuesday, people will just look at you and be like, that person just has everything figured out.
just killing it.
Yeah, right. Like that should be the peak. Like we don't live for the weekend, we live to make Tuesday amazing.
Okay, well, I'll jot that down. But
I love that. I feel
we haven't
inspired.
we haven't brought you on the podcast, Peter, to talk about Tuesday. Fuck Tuesday. Let's talk about everything email marketing. I mean, for our listeners at home, Peter, in my opinion, is at the top of her game for email marketing in Australia. This girl is killing it for her clients. Now, full disclosure, yes, Peter is our client. We do a lot of work with Peter and Professional Babe, but what we see, I guess what you're doing, the results you're getting through email marketing, we just need you on this podcast. We have to chat everything email marketing and everything you do. So let's get into it, Peter. Firstly, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Peter. I'm like a super Virgo, which I think obviously explains why I love email, because I'm just like all over the data, like a very sexy rash. I am the founder of I'm the founder of Professional Babe, and I think like my whole focus is helping people grow and scale profitable businesses. And I think what I love like so much about email is it really helps you to do that. I think a lot of the time we spend like so much of our week doing stuff that could be an automated process, that we think that we should be doing things manually because how it like should be done. And then having the data, obviously we're all marketers, like data is just gold for us. It gives us the ability to then make these wonderful data-driven decisions, which can enhance our profitability. So my goal is to always work with business owners and help them make email the most profitable piece of their marketing stack.
Awesome. Love it. Now, I've got so many questions. I'm sure Treese, Mary also might have questions, so feel free to jump in. But I guess the biggest thing for me right now, working with obviously small business owners, startups, globally, I always get the same question: is email marketing still relevant in today's digital world? So what's your reply to that, Peter?
It's so funny because I think that like people have this perception that email is for boomers. And I'm not surprised, because like every day, like we can open our inbox right now and we are like constantly being turkey slapped by bad email.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, for
like
sure.
we can look at, right. Like it's so prevalent. Like we look at all of these campaigns and it's because a lot of people aren't doing a great job. People's then perception is, well, this is email. Like if this is what I'm seeing, if this is what's hitting my inbox, like this must be the standard. And we can look even at bigger companies and how social media has really kind of taken over, and email has just become this like little, what people believe like little ugly sister that's just just send the campaign or just send a newsletter, and it's almost treated like just like another thing to do on the to-do list, and not the thing that actually drives profit. Like I always tell my clients, I'm like, if Instagram came out and it had all the features that email marketing has just at a basic level, people would be losing their minds saying that this is going to change the game. So like the metrics that we desire from social media, the results that we desire, and all of, I guess, the data, like that already exists in email. I think it's just because a lot of people do such a bad job, it's then affected our perception. But the cool thing is, because a lot of people don't do email well, we can just come in and do like just a good job of it. And in our subscribers' eyes, in this sea of their inbox, when they're just being turkey slapped by absolute shit. And then our beautiful newsletter comes in and they're like, oh my gosh, I look forward to getting your emails because it's so different than the shit that hits my inbox every other day.
Oh, for sure. And I guess in a world of, as you're saying, there's so much crap out there. I mean, I consider just an email newsletter, just a one-off sort of no strategy behind it, just digital junk mail. So how important is it to have an actual strategy behind any email marketing plan?
Oh, like, so it's so important. It's so important. Why I love it as well is it's kind of like the glue that holds everything together. I think a lot of the time people are really good at having a strategy for their Instagram or their social media. They're good at having a strategy for like their overall business and business development. And this is where email almost comes in as like this underutilized team member that will then pick up the slack. They're like, awesome. You've got all of these people on your Instagram and you want to sell this program out. Cool, we can make that happen. You have this idea 6 months down the track that we're going to create like a new product and we want to start to build like a list of hot leads and engaged people. Awesome. Like we can start to do that now. And, you know, for a lot of people, I think my favorite thing is quite often we think, oh, let's hire or let's like bring someone in, where email is like the extra set of hands in your business, where for most people, they're probably going to be paying like $100 a month in software. And for the results and the actual money that you get from that, it's like, that's just, it always has the best ROI.
Sure. Mary, do you have any questions?
What would you say are the main things that you notice that differentiates those kind of junky emails from the ones that people do look forward to that kind of do have that mini cult following?
So I think the first thing is segmentation. So there's a really fun fact that anytime you have like a segmented campaign, it can get 760% more revenue compared to a campaign that hasn't been segmented. So I think one of the mistakes is people will just send out these blast campaigns to their whole list and not really consider, you know, why people are on their list in the first place, the interest that their subscribers, their customers, their potential customers kind of have. So I think something that really separates people that are giving good email compared to like the norm is they've kind of taken a step back and they're like, awesome, like why are people here? What do they need? What do they desire? And then they're really strategically using email in a way to speak to all of these different groups of customers. The best way I can explain this is like, I can go out and have like a really saucy weekend, and I'm not going to give the same information to every single person in my life. Like if my mom rings up, I'm going to give her a story. I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I just went out with the girls, where I might go into work and the receptionist will be like, how was your weekend? And I'll say, I met the hottest guy. But then as soon as I go in to like get my afternoon coffee, my barista is going to get all of like the gory details and all of the shit and everything that basically happened on that weekend. And I, right. And I think the thing is with like people that are giving good email, they know that they have these different groups on their list. They know that they have to speak to these people differently, and they do that. And because of that, they're getting engaged. If I was to ring my mom and tell her the stuff that I would tell my barista, she would probably be crying and sending me emails saying, here is a therapist that I think that you need to speak to, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's such a great point. I mean, segmentation, I mean, I guess working with business owners that are new to email marketing, it's just another buzzword. They don't really understand what segmentation is. And I guess to really break it down, if you only had 50 subscribers on a mailing list, like really entry level, like you don't have a massive database of email subscribers, not all those people on your list are the same. So you need to treat everyone individually, especially if you're selling e-commerce, for example. Everyone's going to your website looking at different products, different categories for different reasons. So segmentation is massive when it comes to email marketing. So, but
even in a general standpoint, when you sign up to just say ASOS, for example, they ask you questions of, are you interested in menswear, women's wear? That's a segment, right? And then it goes down from there. Are you interested in, you know, outerwear, activewear, that kind of thing? So with your segmentation, for example, with your most recent Bulletproof Your Marketing, I signed up and I completed your quiz, and I assumed that that led into a segmentation for your email list.
With the quiz. So it's really funny. We actually had that. We used to have that as an like an original opt-in where we had the like, what was your email marketing dating style? And we're absolutely going to bring that back because I noticed that like with this course that we had, like this email course, it's really interesting that people are like, oh yeah, it's just an email course. People need that. But it's like, but the person who has just started the business, like as you said, Lee, the person that just has 50 subscribers is going to have completely different like wants, needs, and desires compared to the e-commerce company that has a database of 20,000 people that doesn't know what to do with it, compared to the person that's like, oh my gosh, I have a list of 5,000 people that I never email. I don't know what to do. It's like, yeah, the overarching thing is email, but every single person, like we can still kind of like take a step back and be like, let's look at everyone and objectively, like, why are they here and what are they after? And I think a lot of the times this is where campaigns don't really necessarily work out, because if we look at these two different groups of people, it's like, I could be speaking to the beginners that just have a list of 50 people. And then the e-commerce company is like, oh, this doesn't apply to me. Whereas if we flip that, the person that then has 50 subscribers, they're like, oh, this is completely outside of my depth. And what we start to see when we actually don't have segmentation is this effect in the metrics. So it's kind of almost like that little Pavlov's dog where was it the bell? When they ring the bell, there was that association of, yay, I get fed now.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want people to think, oh, the last 3 emails that Peter has sent has been for beginners. This is going to be completely like under my skill level. Sorry, it's like out of my skill level because I have this list of 10,000 people, and it could just be by chance that that email is perfect for them. So what we want to ensure is that as soon as someone hops on our list, we're always sending them relevant content. I see this all the time when I look at an existing database. Usually if they have really low open rates and really low click rates, and it's almost like people have just completely disengaged, quite often this is just because they haven't had that like segmented approach like right from the get-go and actually built that into their overall strategy.
Okay. Treese, do you have any questions?
I just would like to know how you came up with your entire branding. Like, I mean, I know the makings of wet dreams of business owners. Like, was that entirely from your personality, or was that you talking to people and just trying to stand out apart from the rest? And like, it's just so fun and interesting. When I go through your website, I just love it all.
So I've had a bit of a varied career path, which I would love to also say I have been with Lee from the very beginning. When was that? 2010, I think, or 2011.
Yeah, it's been about 10 years.
Yeah. You can't get rid of me. You can't get rid of me, babe.
I've tried. There's been restraining orders. Yeah.
And like in that time, we started off with like a Pilates DVD and like a health-based brand. I had a Pilates studio, and then I was writing for health magazines, and then I've always had this just interest probably in like putting my entire life online. I think I would be really good on a reality TV show, just FYI.
Oh yeah.
Just because I overshare so much. Anyway, I overshared like about this really bad date once on my Facebook, and I got offered a column to be like a sex and dating writer. And it was so interesting when I like took that role. I really felt like I was like, oh, this just feels like it's me, because I can talk about stuff that I'm so interested about, that I have strong opinions about, that I'm now going to get paid for, that normally would be reserved just for my barista or like the group chat. And I noticed that people just responded so well to it. And I think that that's something really awesome when you have like a personal brand. Is you can bring in these parts of yourself, which I will say are quite polarizing. But the awesome thing is with that, you're going to repel these people that you're not for. And then the people that you are for, they're going to be like, who the fuck is a business consultant and has on the title page of their website, wet dreams.
Yeah.
So I think like my website obviously is like stuffed with innuendo. And I think it just really was fused from this like sex and dating like 2-year portion of my life. But it was so interesting that when I started talking about like business concepts and when I started my consulting, which is a very long story, I noticed that a lot of the time clients just wouldn't really understand like business concepts. And as soon as I could bring something in that they could understand, which was usually like a dating example, like I'm like, you would never go out on a date and like flop your dick out on the table. And they'd be like, oh no. I'm like, well, you're doing that with your email subscribers. And they would like all of a sudden be like, oh my God, I can't believe that I'm doing that. I think that it just like, it's like the penny dropped for people and they completely understood. And I think they also got like a sense of who I am, what I'm about, and the fact that I'm not going to be this like airy fairy bullshit. Like they know that they're coming in, they know that they're going to get good results. There could be like a little, you know, this gesture on a call, which I love to do. And it just kind of felt like a bit of a no-brainer. But I will say this, it was really interesting when we did this rebrand, which was about a year ago, right? I think we're working on it. Yeah.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
Yeah, about a year ago, that there were a lot of people in my personal life that were like, oh, I don't like it.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
Interesting.
They're like, I don't like it. And I think a lot of the time, depending on like where you are in your like business, we need to kind of just remember that sometimes the people that are closest to us, their opinion for this doesn't matter, because it's like, they're not going to be our customer. They're not going to be paying our bills. Like my mom was like, I don't like that you've written this word on the website. And I'm like, Mom, it doesn't matter. I've had a client come to me, be like, lol, I know exactly what you're like. I have to work with you. Like I'm so magnetized to this branding. So I always think, I'm like, you know, if you have people that come to you and they're obsessed, I think the light and shade of that is you're going to have people that are like, I don't like it. No one wants to be beige. You just don't. You don't want to be worse. I think it's like the worst thing for branding. So as soon as I started to get some people with strong opinions, I was like, good. We've done like a really good job with this rebrand. Yeah.
I think
you're essentially the Carrie Bradshaw of the email marketing world then.
Oh, I love that.
So, I mean, I think that's why you're absolutely crushing it with Professional Babies, because you know who you are and you're not trying to be anything else. And a lot of people sort of put on this, I guess, false sort of personality online or, you know, on social media of who they're not, but they're trying to be. And I guess when it comes across with your marketing, and I mean, anyone that's following on social media, Professional Babe, definitely check Peter out. You're so real and upfront, and you just tell it how it is. So that's why a lot of people do connect with your messaging, because people love that about your, I guess, authenticity. So
it itches my brain too, that it's kind of like the feminine antithesis of that hustle crypto bro kind of culture of like, you just got to hustle, you just got to send out 5,000 emails a day, you just got to do it. Instead, you're saying, take a step back, think about it, approach it thoughtfully.
It's real. It's real, and
it's actionable too.
You know, on your TikTok as well, you've got the positives and the negatives. Like if you're having a bad day, you post that as well. It's not all just like, we're crushing every day. Like you're honest and upfront, and I think people appreciate that.
So with
thank you.
So I guess when it comes back to the whole email, trying to, you know, and I'm trying to provide as much value in regards to email marketing for our listeners, and there's so much we can obviously jam pack into this. So I guess let's look at the most obvious questions that we get asked by our clients. You know, how often should they be sending emails out?
It's, you're not gonna lie, it's like, how long's a piece of string? Like it really depends. Like in our recent launch, we sent 38 emails, and that was in like 2 months. And someone was like, that's a lot. And it is. If we were just blasting that out to my whole list, we would have probably had like a mass exodus of unsubscribes or people that now just completely disengage. And I think that it always comes back to that segmented approach. So I think what I recommend businesses to do is like, when like hopefully they're doing a marketing strategy, like hopefully they have some kind of strategy, but when you're like doing all of this, like if you're say working on like your Q1 stuff right now, like take a step back and be like what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Where are we going? What like ideal result do we want to have? And look at email as almost like a person on your team. And they're going to help with that result to kind of make that happen. So you may be like, well, we're going to launch something in March. And then email's like, awesome. We need to have like a really cool wait list. So like, depending on the software, they all have very different features, but like ConvertKit, for example, has something called link tagging. So you can get really quite strategic where you can put like different things in a campaign where, like, let's just pretend that we have a yoga instructor and they're going to bring out a course on a morning routine.
Mm-hmm.
We can send out campaigns where we maybe link to something about morning routine that we've written on Instagram, or an article that we've read, or stuff where we're like, if people like this, they're going to love this. And we can start to build a wait list. So when March rolls around and we are in that launch phase of we have this awesome product, you know, we have inadvertently built this wait list of say 200 people just based off their behavior. So that's, I think, the first step. It's just identifying what's happening with the business and where this is going. Usually, if I have a client that comes to me and they're unsure about email, if we actually look at their business, it usually can also be that they're unsure about their business and they're not even sure where their business is going. And they're kind of expecting their marketing to do this thing, but they don't even know what's happening. I think when we actually have complete business clarity and we know where we're going and what we're doing, that's when the marketing and everything becomes really quite simple. So I think that would be like the first thing, just identifying everything that's happening and then looking and being like, okay, how can email actually help with this? And then from there, you'll start to see all of the campaigns that basically have to happen. And then this is where like the segments come in. Of you being like, okay, cool, we've got to target these segments. So if we have this launch coming up, we probably should be warming up this database now. So let's send them an email like every week. And our normal database, we're going to email them like every Tuesday. So our super spicy leads, they're going to hear from us like maybe twice a week. Our other people, they are going to be only hearing from us once a week. But there isn't like a hard and fast rule in terms of just send an email a week.
Sure.
One of the things that I will say that every business needs is to have a welcome sequence. So have something where as soon as someone joins your list, or if they get like a lead magnet or a freebie, that they have emails that are like drip fed.
Yeah.
I always like to email them quite regularly with that. So about every 3 days, they get an email from you, because it's just kind of like defining the relationship from the start. So
Definitely.
if you are going into a launch and you email people regularly, it's like they know from the get-go, okay, cool. This company, this person, they email me pretty regularly. I know what to expect, compared to going on their list, getting nothing, and then all of a sudden, like you're spamming them with emails, which inadvertently will then fuck your sender reputation.
Sure.
And which is where your emails will end up like in everywhere that we don't want them to be, like socials, promotions, spam, bad.
Yeah. And I guess in regards to like the welcome sequence, when we obviously bring on a new client, we're doing a consultation and we talk about email marketing, and we say, oh, listen, do you do any email marketing? And that usually the response is, yes, we have a newsletter sign up. It's like, okay, then what? And usually that's it. Oh no, we don't really send anything out. You know, we haven't really touched it, sort of thing. So, yeah, the amount of people that sort of don't realize that you can actually automate the entire process. And so, what about when it comes to sending out emails and personalizing the actual email itself? How important is that to just a generic hi, or Merry Christmas sort of thing, without an actual personalizing that email directly to that individual?
So personalization is great. You will get, like, depending on how it's used, it will actually increase your metrics. So it can increase your like opens and clicks. If you use it in, say, like their first name in the subject or the preview. This also as well comes back to that segmentation and starting right from the point of opt-in. So a mistake that I see businesses make is they'll either just collect their email. They won't even get their first name. And I'm like, at a bare minimum, get your subscribers' first name. Because I think it just doesn't really seem that personal if you open and like a campaign from a company and it's like, hi, or it just like goes straight in. It's like, oh my God, if you're going to slip the noodle in, just like warm it up a little bit, right?
Email foreplay.
Well, I think we've got our little sound bite for that little section just there.
Perfect. Thanks, Peter.
You want to warm it up. So just get their first name and really like personalize it for the person. Like we'll use personalization in our emails. We'll use first name. If they haven't given their first name, we'll use something that's really on brand. So we'll say hot stuff. Yeah. So hey, hot stuff. Yeah. So things like that.
And I guess when we look at email marketing as a whole, I mean, it's a beast these days to really do it right. There's a lot of, as you're saying, segmentation, automation, and there's a lot that goes into it. And I mean, you have a fantastic course that you've been running for a little while now, Give Good Email. This is by far, in my personal opinion, yes, maybe biased, but one of the best email marketing courses out there. So let's talk about Give Good Email. I mean, what's involved in this course that you've launched?
What does the course feature?
Yeah. What's included? What do you cover? And mind you, we'll obviously put a website link. We'll obviously include links and everything. So
everything. It's so funny that this, like, I always have said to people that like, this sounds so morbid. I'm like, if I die tomorrow, I know that my best work is out there. Like this course is truly the best thing that I've ever done. It took about like a year of development. And the hard thing was, I'm like, how can you create a program that is suitable for all different businesses? How can you create a program that's suitable for e-commerce compared to bricks and mortar service, compared to professional services and course providers? Because they all have completely different businesses. It's why I fucking hate templates when people are like, use these templates and make 100K. The only person that's making 100K is the person selling the templates.
Agree.
Right? Like you need to have this personalized approach. So what I decided to do is I'm like, let me just put everything in this course that I think needs to be in there. So we've got like 8 modules on things like deliverability, automation, segmentation, the metrics, everything. And then what I had worked out was I think it needs to have a different structure. So I don't know about you, Lee, but when I grew up, I was obsessed with Dolly and like girlfriend magazines and how they had like the quizzes, the quizzes where it was like, what's your skater boy that you're going to date? Who's your summer fling? And you would do these and I was obsessed with them. And I also was an avid reader and I loved like choose your own adventure books. So what we had done with the course is we had created this quiz called like what's your email marketing dating style, and you actually get assigned a persona. So we have our Nancy, we have our Sam, our Valerie, and then my favorite fuckboy Chad. And when you have your persona, you then get a roadmap on what you need to tackle. So Nancy is our novice. So we like start them from the ground up. We look at, okay, cool. Like what's your software? Let's give you a strategy. Let's get your first automation up and running. Let's give you an understanding of segmentation. Let's help you explore the metrics and then develop like a bit of a routine and a system, because quite often I'll see clients that will start out as a Nancy, they'll start out as a beginner, and then they quickly become a Chad. So Chad is the person that list builds and doesn't do anything with it. He is the guy on Tinder that has like this like 1,000 strong black book of pussy that he doesn't do anything with. And his whole strategy is swipe, 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 swipe. And then as soon as a need hits, it's 11 o'clock on a Friday and he's messaging everyone, are you up? And then it's this mass exodus. And this happens with people with their email list. They build. Shit, I forgot that I've had it. Oh, we have a sale coming up. Let me just email these people this like blatant like sales email. I haven't even, again, warm up to slip the
Really
noodle
cool.
in.
Yeah, exactly. They go straight for the sale. Yeah.
Right. So, the Chads, they need a very different strategy where we need to actually create a plan. We may need to look at their subscriber base, because one of the worst things a business can do is email a cold list. It can get us blacklisted. It can fuck up our sender reputation, and it can really cause like a lot of problems for our business.
Yeah. And actually, that's a good point, because I do have a lot of people inquiring about, asking the question, oh, we don't really have a mailing list, but should I buy a database? We get off the databases. And to me, that's a big red flag. I'm like, hell no, do not purchase any database of.
Well, it's illegal as well.
Yeah. Well, it's just not the right. And again, the people that are making the money out of that are the people trying to obviously push that database. So
it's also like buying followers, I guess. It's kind of more of a vanity thing, so that you feel better about it, but it's not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to say on that as well, I think that a lot of the time, and I have this with clients, they'll come to me and they'll say, I can't really do email because I don't really have a big database. And I'll say, how many people are on your list? And they'll say 2,000. And I'm like, I think I had a client once said that to me, and I'm like, we have 500. The first time we had launched Give Good Email, I was mainly only speaking to a segment of like 80 people that got my emails. We ended up having a 19% conversion rate from the emails, and I had a $20,000 week in business. Yeah. So I think when we actually look at giving good email, it's about like developing a really solid relationship with the people that are already in our world, and not thinking, oh, well, I need more people because I'm only going to convert at like 1%. Like, think about how good it would be to get like a 5% reply rate, which is my average of people that will just reply to my emails. Even on my welcome sequence, we have a 50% reply rate on that first email of people who are like requesting more information. So it's not about having more. I think it's just about doing like a really good job with the people that you have, because the cool thing is when you can master that with a small audience, that will scale. So as your list grows, that list will grow as well. And this is quite often why I will have a client that will come to me with a list of 200 people, and they will get the same result of someone that could have a list of 5,000 people, because they've really intentionally built their list and they're actually maximizing the people that they have that are already there.
Cool. All right. I mean, there is so much we could keep talking about with email marketing. And I guess, if anyone wants to obviously follow you, Peter, whereabouts can they find you on social?
Professional Babe. But if you're cute, you can slide into my DMs at Peta Serras, which is my personal page.
Wow. Oh, God. Let me just unfriend you for a second.
How do you segment the DMs? Do you have the...
Oh, there you go.
I wish that you could do that.
Yeah.
One day, Meta. Get on it.
Oh, yeah, you watch. I'm sure there's going to be a way. Yeah.
You have to complete a quiz before you can get in.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Okay. So I guess to wrap it up, again, there's so much we can be chatting about. If anyone's interested in email marketing, definitely go check out professionalbabe.com. Give Good Email, fantastic course. Everything you need to know about the course is online on the website. Check it out. Is there anything, Peter, you want to sort of wrap up with? Any top 3 email marketing tips people should sort of pencil in or start jotting down? Or have we sort of discussed everything?
Okay. I do have a tip. I told this to my client the other day. I said, sometimes, if we're in this for the long game, which I think everyone is, it's not like we are exiting in 3 months. If we're in this for the long game, we have time to try stuff. And sometimes the best thing that a business can do is like relinquish their grip on every single email has to bring in ROI, and that we could just create like the next 2 to 3 months of campaigns of why don't we just try stuff on and see if it works. The example that I gave my client is, I'm like, this is where you're just going into a store and you're just going to try things on, even if you're not sure. You might like the color red, but you hate pants, and you see these red pants. You're just going to try them on and see what they're like, and be open to being pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Usually what will happen, this is where a client will try something and they'll be like, shit, we had $15,000 of sales from that email that I never would have tried, but I was just open to kind of being curious. I think that that's one of the best things we can do. Always remembering that we still want stuff to be on brand. So like that, it always comes back to like what is on brand for us, but just being open to being curious as to like what is going to work. And then I think the second most important thing is just being really consistent. It's like, if we ever want to get like super strong or really flexible, we're not just going to go to the gym for one day and then beat ourselves up about our results. We're going to go consistently and know that even if we go and we have a workout that wasn't that great, that's okay, because it's kind of like if we zoom into a picture and it's super pixelated, you know, yes, every single square is a little color, and like one square might be a really great workout or a really good email, and then the next square is a color that, you know, was a terrible workout, or the email wasn't that great and we had maybe more unsubscribes, or we didn't really convert what we want. But at the end of the day, when we actually zoom out, we see this really beautiful overall image that represents our effort and our brand. So just remember to always zoom out and remember everything is part of this bigger picture.
Yeah, that's fantastic advice. I mean, end of the day, a lot of people out there, I've tried email marketing, it hasn't worked, and they just give up. But it's end of the day, if you're not actually going to put in the work and give it a go, you know, you won't know the results. So you can at least
It's like with all marketing, right? If you post
Mm.
one thing to Instagram and you don't get 1 million followers the next night,
You
you're not
can't
going to
give up.
stop posting
Yeah.
to Instagram.
It's a long game. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, that's been absolutely awesome. Always lovely chatting with you, Peter. We've actually kept it pretty G rating, PG.
Yeah, thanks, Peter.
Yeah. Okay.
I tried.
Awesome. Really appreciate the time. I'll hit the stop record button and look forward to catching up next time, Peter.
All right. See ya.
Right.
Okay.
See ya.
See you
Bye.
all. Bye.